Hello everybody and welcome to Penelope's Pocket Flosstube episode number 7. It's Saturday the 7th of June. I'm Sarah. I'm both Ascanius on Instagram and I'm also Penelope's Pocket on Instagram, where you'll find updates on the bags that I've been making, the fabrics that I've chosen, and when to find them on the website. This is my strawberry themed episode that I hinted at last week. Not last week, obviously, 3 weeks ago, last episode. I laughed then and I'm still smiling now because I don't really have anything much to show that's strawberry themed. I have had to be very creative in coming up with ideas of things to show. I think I've pulled it off slightly, bearing in mind I've never really stitched a strawberry apart from my strawberry in ice cream disguise, which I have shown before. This is my one strawberry finish, and it is a strawberry, it's not an ice cream. I've showed it before. So yeah, that's what triggered the whole thing. And lots of people have been talking about stitching strawberries, and Michelle from Mama Loves You GB has talked about a strawberry stitch along for Wimbledon. I didn't look up what the hashtag was, but I think the idea is that you work on strawberries during Wimbledon, which is obviously coming up soon. Hence I've made some bags. I thought I'd start off by saying, of course, we all know strawberries are called strawberries because they grow on straw. And then I thought, well, better actually check that out. And when I looked it up, that isn't actually correct, because cultivated strawberries grow on straw. But strawberries weren't cultivated till the 1750s. And cultivation began in France, where they started breeding them for, well, to make them bigger, I suppose, size, flavour, and to start cultivating them, growing them and eating them. But little wild strawberries have been around, well, for forever, I suppose. So it would appear from all the things that I looked at that nobody really knows why they're called strawberries. There were various ideas. I have them actually growing in my garden, where they grow a bit like a weed, actually. They were here when we first moved here years ago, and our dog at the time, Agnes, developed a real taste for them. She was always out there snuffling, and I remember thinking not long after we'd moved in, what is she doing? And going out there and realising there were these tiny little strawberries in amongst where she was, and she was pulling them out with her teeth and having a good feast on them. And so they've been here probably for many, many years. The people who lived here before us were here for about 40 years, I think. So, and they grow a bit like a weed. So last year when I was ill and didn't do any gardening, they sort of overtook areas of the garden completely. So earlier on this year, it took me quite a long time to pull them all out, and they're still regrowing. But I understand the strawberry, one of the strawberry theories as to why they're called that is they do have these very long runners that I guess you could say look a bit straw-like. They also grow apparently on the edges of fields where there is grass and straw, in hot, dry areas. Our garden's quite dry, I wouldn't say, because they grow in the shade here as well, they grow everywhere. One of the theories that people seem to think is the most likely is that children would collect them, and I have experienced this myself actually. When you pick them, they don't stay fresh for very long, and if they are tiny. If you have like a little handful, they can quite quickly go mushy. This is apparently if they touch each other, they can become quite mushy. And I guess if you were out walking, you wouldn't know necessarily you were going to find any. And apparently if you came across a patch, you could pick them, and you could also pick a length of straw, and you could, or grass I guess, and you could thread them on that, which would hold them separate from each other, so you could get them home without them touching each other and turning to mush. And you didn't need to, a piece of straw or grass would be there. I quite like that theory. Anyway, so they're not called strawberries because we grow them on straw, we cultivate them on straw, because they weren't cultivated till 1750, and they've been called strawberries for years. So there you go, that's what I found out about that. What am I wearing? Well, I've never knitted anything with strawberries on it. I have never sewn anything with strawberries on it to wear. I don't have anything in my wardrobe with strawberries on. It flashed into my mind, shall I dress up as a strawberry? But that's the teacher in me coming out. It would be ridiculous to sit here dressed as a strawberry. So I found this red top, and I had to look up what it was made for, and when I made it, because I've had it such a long time. It's called Sea Tangles, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. I made this one in 2016, so a long time ago. That was when I used my Ravelry properly. And when I read my notes, I did actually recall it was a very difficult knit, because it's made out of Habu textiles, steel and silk. Yes, indeed. And really strangely, I found a cone of it when I was looking for something else recently in the cupboard. So this is what it's made out of, and it's silk. It's very fine, and it's silk wrapped around steel, so absolutely no give in it whatsoever. And when I read my notes, that came across quite clearly, that I think I started it a couple of times. I had to knit various elements of it longer a couple of times, because when I tried it on, it didn't really work. It pulls really easily. I don't wear it a lot, and I find it quite it's quite evening-y actually, so I might wear it if we go out. It catches on things and it pulls, but it is quite beautiful actually. It's got lots of random cables in it, which gives it this effect. And it's red, strawberry red, of course. So that's what I'm wearing. I thought about including this now or later, but I'm going to include it now. I've put it on with this fine black pony neck because my neck's quite... I'll talk a bit about my health. Please fast forward if you're not interested in this at all. If you're a returning viewer, you'll know I do talk about my health on this Flosstube. And if you're new, you might find it interesting. I don't know, you might just want to fast forward. So I have, in May of last year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. There is no cancer in my family. I did the genetic test, it's not genetically related. And it was a terrible, terrible shock to me, my family, my friends, because you sort of do think that these things are it would be in your family. It's not in my family. And so just as I was due to start my treatment for the breast cancer, they do a blood test, and they discovered that I had also developed acute myeloid leukemia, and it's called acute because it comes on very, very quickly. So at around that time, I also developed acute myeloid leukemia. I can't tell you what my reaction was. Well, you can probably imagine the shock was phenomenal. I sort of knew there wasn't something quite right, hadn't been feeling quite right. Anyway, leukemia trumps breast cancer, so I was taken straight into hospital and more or less immediately started on chemotherapy for the leukemia, and was an inpatient in hospital under the haematology team for 6 months. During that time, I don't want to go into too many details, but during that time, because of the treatment that I was having for the leukemia, I developed a fungal infection which put me in ICU twice, and twice for quite long periods of time. And one of the reasons for that is because I don't like to be boring. It was phenomenally rare fungal infection. I can't remember what it's called. I am one of 3 people, I think, in the world that has this fungal infection. So look, I'm still smiling, it's all okay. So I am dealing with breast cancer, leukemia and a fungal infection, which is pretty serious. I was in remission for leukemia around about Christmas time, so I was finally released, and haven't been an inpatient since I think the 18th of December I came out. And I can't tell you, when you've been an inpatient in hospital for 6 months, being home, you can cope with anything because you really appreciate being home. I love being home. I have my crafting to keep me happy, I have my bag making to keep my mind occupied, and I'm a happy bunny. When I was fit enough, I had a mastectomy, and that's the first treatment that I'd had for my breast cancer. So I was diagnosed in May of last year and had mastectomy in January of this year. So it's quite a long time to have a cancer that's going untreated. And then when I'd recovered from the mastectomy, they started the chemotherapy for the breast cancer, which was such a relief to me because I hadn't really had any treatment for it at all. And so I had a few rounds of treatment. And if you've been watching me recently, you will hear that I've commented that I haven't had treatment because I've had problems with my liver function. And I now haven't actually had any treatment at all for 3 weeks, coming up for a month now. And previously to that, I only had part of my treatment because of these problems with my liver function. This is getting into quite a lot of detail now. Anyway, my husband takes a great deal of interest in all the things that are going on with me. And my advice to anybody out there is take control of what's wrong with you, or have somebody. I don't. I deal with it. I deal with the living with these issues and remain upbeat and positive. And he researches, finds out stuff, because I am under the care of 2 separate hospitals and 3 separate departments, I suppose. So the Royal Marsden treats me for the breast cancer, so that's one hospital. I'm at Kingston Hospital Haematology for the leukemia, and I'm also dealing with biochemistry for the fungal infection. And you need joined up thinking, and my husband is the one that provides that, and he is the one that has pushed and pushed and pushed recently to say it's not the chemotherapy that's causing these problems with Sarah's blood counts and liver function and all these things. He thought it was the drug that I've been taking for the fungal infection. Haematology were worried that the acute myeloid leukemia had come back, so I had to have a bone marrow test last week, was it the week before, an urgent bone marrow test to find out what was going on. But a side effect of the drug that I take in very high quantities for the fungal infection is it does mess up your bone marrow. And it would appear that's what it is. So I'm telling you all of this because I actually have been very inactive on my Ascanius account. I haven't posted anything for quite a while, and I haven't looked at anything that anybody that I follow has posted for quite a while, because that's off of my radar at the moment while I'm dealing with all these other issues. But I have been on Penelope's Pocket doing stuff because the bag making is good for me. I enjoy it, keeps me occupied. But anyway, I had good news yesterday. They called me from the haematology unit and said they couldn't find any leukemic cells in the bone marrow biopsy that they took. There was something else, because there's always something else, that they want to test for next week. But I am convinced it is the drug that I take for the fungal infection. So I probably am going to have to make my own decision. Do I want the fungal infection to kill me or the breast cancer? because I don't think I can continue taking the medication for the fungal infection and get my treatment for the breast cancer, because it is messing up my platelets. I've got a bloodshot eye, I've got terrible swelling, cheeks, neck, feet. I can't feel my feet. That's a side effect of the medication. I've had a couple of falls. I've had little bloody knees like a toddler, because I'm a bit unstable. Anyway, the statistics are that 1 in 2 people have cancer. And so out there watching me, you either have it yourself, have had it, know somebody that has it, or about to be hit by news that somebody that you know has it, because that is the way it is. And be reassured that having 2 at the same time is phenomenally rare. The fungal infection is also phenomenally rare. Anyway, I am still sat here, I'm still smiling, I am going to survive all of these things. Positivity and determination is key, and I have that in barrel loads. And I've thought a lot about why I have it. I have it because of my upbringing, because of my personality. My parents, who I still have both of my parents, obviously phenomenally worried about me, but are also completely convinced that I'm going to be fine, as are my children, my husband, and I'm surrounded by friends who have lots of positive energy. And through sharing this on Instagram and through here, I've had so many positive messages, prayers and thoughts, and I send them all straight back to you. Anyway, if you've made it this far, that's it. Okay. Good news yesterday, the AML has not returned. So there we go. That's where I am. But very conscious of because I've lost a lot of weight. You lose a lot of weight when you've got cancer. It's not a great way to lose weight, but you do. So the swelling is, Anyway, enough of that. What am I drinking? I am drinking, or about to have a sip of. Actually, I'm just gonna. Runny nose, side effect. No hairs on your nose. No hairs on your nose this time with the treatment. I didn't lose my eyebrows and my eyelashes. I'm continuing talking about it now, aren't I? When I had the treatment for the AML, although I lost all my hair. And this time I'm actually doing the cold cap treatment because I do quite like my hair now. It's begun to grow back, even though it's a bit wild. But I have lost my eyelashes and all the hairs in my nose, but the hairs on my chin still growing as strong as ever. Anyway, there we go. What am I drinking? I have strawberry tea. It's a Twinings herbal tea. It's strawberry and mint and green tea, I think. And I'm just going to take a sip, see what it's like. It's quite nice, actually. It's quite sweet. In my mind, this was a strawberry mug. I've alluded to the fact that I've done teaching for quite a while. But it's not a strawberry, is it? I mean, I mentioned that because you get a lot of mugs when you're a teacher. It's not a strawberry, it's actually a cherry. So I took it out of the drawer this morning and thought, oh, why did I in my mind think that was a strawberry? And it's a cherry. Anyway, there we go. That's what I'm drinking. Right. Let's crack on with what's in the bag. Got my notes on my lap here. I don't feel like I should really need them. Anyway, what's in the bag? So, still got my white bag. Actually, we went to Charlton Farmhouse in the gap between, obviously I told you I came out of hospital on the 18th of December. And I didn't have the mastectomy until, it was January. And then I didn't start the chemotherapy till March. So in that gap between having the operation and the chemotherapy restarting, that's when we went away. And I had my taste buds back and my appetite back, and I was really mobile then as well. So that was all great, and this was when we went away. I talked about this before in previous episodes. So, easiest to take out, knitting. So in my Isabel bag, and I talked about this on my Scottish episode, I've started their pullover by Gudrun Johnson, and for a while was completely unable to put it down. So here we go. Where am I? I was concerned about my colours and how they were going to work together. Well, I think they did work together, actually. I'm quite pleased. So that's where I am. So it's definitely going to be big enough. I did not do a tension square. I just, as you know, I do talk about the tension squares. I do them, and then they don't really seem to bear any relevance to how it turns out in the end. So I thought, I really just can't be bothered. I'm just going to crack on and do it. So I'm looking for where the sides are, because it's shaped. Ah, here we go. So yeah, you can see there. So the pattern decreases to this point, which is the waist point, and then it increases out the other side. So I couldn't put it down because it's a really easy 2-row lace pattern, and one of the rows is just a purl row. So compared to my Lola pullover, dead easy. And I just really continuously wanted to get to the next row to see how the colours work together. So you can see now I'm on the increase out again. I'm sort of here, so well, you can see the yellow. I've got the yellow just coming in now. So I'll be doing this bit here, and then there's quite a bit of the grey. Let's see if I've got the pattern here. I can show you the picture. There's quite a bit of the grey to come. Picture. Nice picture. So I'm on this section here. At the top here is a proper Fair Isle section, this pattern bit at the top, and at that point, when I get out of the grey at the top, you cast on, well anyway, it's steeked. We'll talk about that next time if you're not a knitter, but you knit the Fair Isle in the round as well, and you cut open the space for the armholes afterwards. So it starts, this is easy. This I think is going to be more complex because of the steeks, because you will then cut it open, and obviously the sleeves then will be fairly simple. I love the balloon sleeves on it. So anyway, that's quite a lot actually, because I've cast that on. It's 3 weeks since I last did a Flosstube, so that's quite a lot to have got done on that. I'm quite pleased with that, and have been really enjoying it. As I say, something about adding in the colours that just keeps you going, because you just think, oh, just one more row, let's see what this colour looks like next to that colour. So that's that. Now, having said in the past that I only ever have one knitting project on the go at the time, I'm a big fat liar because I've cast on something else. I'm working on Steve's socks as well. They're in my handbag, they go to the hospital. I have turned the heel on them now, but I'm not going to show you those. But I do have a cast on, a new cast on. And guess what it is? Surprise, surprise. It is a ranunculus, because I just love knitting them. And I've just been hunting for stuff, and I came across a ball of not a ball, a hank of Madeline Tosh Twist Light, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon in the colour Scout. It's got a big fat S on the ball band, so I must have put it in a sale sometime. And is it fair to say I don't really like pink, and it's pink? I don't know. It was probably a good price, and so I bought it. And I'm very much into knitting and stitching from stash, as I've said many times. So here we go. So this knits up so fast. It's on big needles, 6mm needles. So this is where I am with it. I actually have a pair of trousers in this colour. I don't like pink. Why I've got pink trousers, I don't know. And they are a small size because I've lost so much weight. So I thought, I really need to knit this because I'm not going to stay this small size forever. It was only 384 meters. I'm a bit concerned. I've spoken before about doing a contrast cast on, and this time I've gone the whole hog and done a contrast rib, and I used the leftover yarn from my Scout Shawl Mini, which I had said that I was going to make some Fair Isle mitts from, but when I it's over there in a bowl, actually, so I'm looking over in that direction. When I put them together, it's obviously a very icy coloured pink. They look really good together, and I think this colour suits me. So next to my neck, next to my face, I think it'll look good. And I've done the cuffs already. So I've got this much yarn to finish the body and start the rib, and this much yarn to finish. I'm not quite sure how the rib's going to work, but we'll see when we get there. But yeah, so I cast that on maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It really does grow quickly, and obviously I'm confident knitting it because I've done it so many times before. What stitching have I been doing? Well, there's the Book of Days is in there. I haven't stickered up for this month yet, so a bit behind. Lily's still in there. I almost started her, but I didn't because I just wanted to get some progress on. Well, actually doing it in order, no progress at all. But Jenny, thank you so much for sending me those photographs that you sent recently, because Jenny sent me some pictures from, is it Country Sampler? No. Anyway, somewhere where she is or had been and seen these made up. And there was a very simple finish of it, and I thought, yes, I think that's what I might do. I think I've overcomplicated the finishing, fully finishing of it, which has just put me off. I've made it too complicated, and from the photos Jenny sent, I think I'm going to simplify it greatly. And last night almost picked this up because I thought I feel it now, but I didn't, so no progress on that. But I have been working on my Scottish sampler, which is the Old Scot from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I think I'd started it. Did I started it for the last episode? I think so, and just done one element of the border and got it to meet. And so I've worked on this for, well, a few days. Let's get it the right way. Which is the right way? Oh, so which is the right way? I think that's the top and that's the bottom. I'm pretty certain that's correct. So I think this is the line that I had completed and joined before. So I've been putting in, well, I've been working on the border basically. I don't like it when they have these straight line edges, because I frame everything myself and it does make them so difficult to frame when they have that straight line, or to get them perfect when they have that straight line. And it's such a vivid red. Look at that. It's going to be a nightmare to frame it. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I jump around a bit. There's these motifs here. They're either brown or are these all? Yeah, those ones are all brown. They're brown if they face inwards and green if they face outwards. So I tend to just get a length of thread, and I might do a length of brown, and then I've started getting a bit bored of that, so I think, well, I'll do a length of the brown and then I'll do a length of colour, which is why I've started on the red bit. You can see there's a red detail there. And I also picked up another colour recently which blends with the fabric a bit. Yeah, this colour here I've started to put in as well, which is a very, very soft pistachio-y type green, very pale. But it has other colours with it as well, so it will eventually stand out. So yeah, I did quite a bit on that. Yeah, like it. Anything else to say about that? I don't think so. These are the colours. I think I said before, I already had some of the colours. And some of the colours I had close, like one number out, and just sort of went for it. So that's the colour that I've been using, the green colour that I've been using in the border. uses quite a lot of that green. And so I also found in my stash, I found another green as well. Where is it? This one. It's not in the pattern. I found that one as well, and I think I might use some of this on the inside parts of the chart. It's not quite as bright as this one, so I'm not going to completely follow the colours in the chart. I might switch them around a bit. I don't even have a floss thread keep with this because this bag is quite old. I'll just try and make myself one to go with that. So yeah, quite a bit done on that in a few days. And the other one that I've done quite a bit of work on is my Martha Pudsey. I found this really difficult to put down. I really love working on this, but I knew I had to put some more stitches in on there. Doing this is quite good actually because it makes me feel I've got to have something to show them. I've got to work on them a bit. Anyway, so this is what I did on Martha. She's cut down now. So the border was finished, I think, last time I showed you. And so I've literally just been working on that very bottom bit there. There's quite a lot of stitches there because it's, can you see it well? It's more or less full coverage. So the grass has begun to go in, the sheep have gone in. They have grass all around them, so they will stand out a lot more than that. It has these little, I love everything about this sampler actually. It has these little dots of colour in the grass, which is, well, it's just lovely actually. So that's where I am with her. I didn't, when I looked at my threads, I didn't actually have the called for white. I have no idea why. I'll show you a picture just in case you don't know her. There she is. So I'm this bit here. You can see the lines of the grass get paler as you get higher. I wanted to get a bit higher actually. I wanted to get all of that done, but I didn't. But yes, this is probably the one that I'll pick up now because I do love working on it and just getting out and looking at it again. I think, yeah, I love these really odd trees. I love the Adam and Eve, I've said many times. So, and it's quite stitch heavy down here, but it gets less, doesn't it, as it gets towards the top. So I didn't have the called for white for the sheep. What did I use instead? I think I'm pretty certain I've used something else. What did I use? I think I've used something else. I've now used for something else as well, taken out. Because I think I used Belle Soir. Because I thought they'd be too white. There is white in it. And I have white there, but I don't think I used that. I think I used a Belle Soir that I've now stuck somewhere else. Yes, Sarah. I need to write things like that down, don't I? Because they're slightly, I can tell I've used something else because NPIs are very thin and these sheep are thicker. I think it's, oh yeah, there it is. Thank goodness for that. I haven't taken it out. I've used, yeah, Classic Colourworks Belle Soir in Oatmeal Scone for the sheep rather than the white. But I think I did use the white for that little dotty bit just there. So yeah, phew, I had got it there. Yeah, love working on that. Let's get her roughly folded. I think I will get that out later. My parrot leopard lion, I did put a couple of threads into. It's not in the bag actually. I took it out because there really is, you can't see anything. It might be itching to get on with that as well. So it's basically too many lovely things to work on and not enough time, even though I spend a lot of time doing these things. It's lovely. There's a needle there. I bet that just fell out of Martha Pudsey. Hold on a minute, I'll put it back in. You tend to leave. I bet I knocked it out the bottom. Oh no, there's one there. It's come out of something else. I'll put it in there anyway. You can't have needles on the floor. So that's the empty bag. That's what I've been working on. I've got a couple of finishes actually, so other bits as well. So that's what's in the bag. Strawberry charts. So this is amusing, this bit here, because virtually, well, there aren't any strawberry charts because I don't have any. So I went through my charts. I don't have a lot of charts, but I have pulled out, well, none of them are strawberry charts basically, but they're all charts that have a strawberry border. So in no particular order, this one is Plum Street Samplers, My Early Days. I love it. I bought it and started buying the threads for it, and then probably another squirrel came along and it's just been in the thing there. But this has a strawberry border, or what I consider to be a strawberry border. Please correct me if I'm not right. You can't really see very well, but this border around the edge is what I consider to be a strawberry border. And I've got others, so that might be clearer on that. That's a great chart. I really like that. This I've also had, I think, pretty much since it came out. This is Sarah's Basket. I bought, for obvious reasons, by Chessie and Me. And I've even made some notes on the back of different colours that I might change. Anyway, this was part of, this was a part of a big sampler, probably Sarah, somebody, and this is big actually. This is, what does it say here? Yeah, it's 123 high and 255 wide, so it's a big cushion when it's made up. And you can't see it here, but along the bottom here it has a strawberry border. Actually, maybe you can see it a little bit along the bottom there. It has a strawberry border, so that came out. And yeah, it made me have a look and think, I had it for such a long time. I really like that. There we go. This one here I haven't had quite such a long time, but I think that is also a strawberry border. This is Throw Wide the Windows by Shakespeare's Peddler. This again is part of a bigger piece, but you know, a separate chart, part of a bigger bit. And across the top there is a strawberry border. That's another one that I really like. Well, we really like them all, don't we? Otherwise we wouldn't buy them. And this actually is a strawberry pattern, and you probably all know this one. This is the Winds of Autumn book by Blackbird, and I'm particularly thinking of this one here. It's big, again it's big, but I'm not into Halloween stitching. I'm not into Halloween particularly, but I do like some autumn stitching. I think this falls into that category. I've made quite a lot of things from this book actually. It's a really lovely book. This is an enormous strawberry. He's got like a Quaker motif on his back. It's not, it just feels autumnal to me. It doesn't feel like Halloween. There's a pumpkin on top of the house there. It is 174 by 118, so big. But it is something that I would like to do. I've made that actually out of this book, and isn't the Nebraska Prairie Pink Heap, I think, is from here as well, that I've shown. Yeah, it is. And those are the two things I've made. Oh no, I've made that as well actually. I don't think I've shown that. I've made that in an orange Belsoir silk on a green ground. So I've done that. So I've done a few things from this book. This is a great book actually. And other things that I would like to do from that book. And that's it. Out of all the charts that I have, and I'm watching other Flosstubers actually don't have very many charts at all. That's all I could come up with, and only one of them is like a proper strawberry. So there we go. That's my charts. And I thought I'd show some previous finishes. Again, I'm clutching at straws here. Excuse the pun. I've shown this before. I think they're strawberries. Can we call them strawberries? This is Brenda Gervais. Easter Peat Parade, could it be? I think maybe. I have talked about it before. Yeah, so that's a very quick show of that one. That's I did it on a week's dye work. Pinky coloured linen. What was it called? Was it called Red Pear actually? Could have been. Yeah, strawberries. There we go. This I haven't shown before, and this is might need the board actually, it's tiny. This is from Sewing Club, it's Blackbird book. It's an absolutely fantastic book. I haven't got it out. There are so many beautiful things in there, of which I have stitched this one. And I think it has strawberry border, which is why I pulled it out. Let's put it on the back of there, see if I can get it close. So you can see I did that in 2020. It's probably all the called for threads, and it's stitched 1 over 1 on would it be Lugana, mushroom Lugana? I think that's probably what was recommended. And it has the strawberry border at the bottom there. It's nice, I like it. I finished it as a fold. It's just that same fabric as the bag I was showing you, same fabric on the back of the other piece. Yeah, I don't mind over one stitching actually, and it doesn't necessarily suit my style of stitching, because I stitch in hand and I stitch in the same way that I sew. In fact, I've heard it called the sewing method. So I make all my crosses. I don't use hoops or anything, I stitch in hand. But you can't use that when you stitch over one. Well, you can if you go more than one thread, if you're moving about a bit. But just with one thread, you have to do the pokey in and out method, which is slow. And yeah. But I do quite like it actually. I'm getting to like it more and more. So there we go. But I did that in 2020. So quite a long time ago now. So that's oh, and I've got another one actually. So this I don't think I've showed this before. I don't think it's in the diorama either, but this is you know, way up there with one of my favourite finishes, and it's a reproduction sampler, and it's called Sarah Bradley 1846, and it's by Mill on the Floss Samplers. And I better show you. I've taken it off the wall so it's framed, and there she is. So this is one of those ones that I saw, well, I can't tell you where because it was quite a long time ago, and it was a PDF download, and I loved it, downloaded it, sorted out all the threads for it and started it almost immediately. And then it took me a while to do, because there's actually a lot of stitching in this. It's very full of motifs, and big motifs as well. And it's Adam and Eve, because I love an Adam and Eve. And it's got a strawberry border, basically. It's hitting this segment because it has a strawberry border. So this is on 36 count XJU Designs fabric. Back in the day, we could get them really easily in the UK, called Birdcage. And again, mostly the called for silks. They were a Vera Soie d'Alger, so the thicker ones. But the one that was listed for her dress, and I think it's used in the birds there as well, in her hat, it didn't seem to exist. It was a number that wasn't listed on any website that I looked at. And this blue, which looked about right to me, was a free gift. When you buy from XJU Designs, she quite often includes like a little tiny weeny scrap of fabric, which is quite often big enough to do something on, or a thread, and that was a thread that she'd just included, and enough of it to do that. I also put gold in it. I don't know why. Wasn't called for. Might have been something else that was called for, some other thread that I didn't have. But I used a gold, I think it was a sajou on a reel for detail on the dress there, and this one here. And I love it. Where it sits in my lounge, it's below a light, And in the evening, the light catches the gold, and it is just lovely. As I walk out, it's by the door. As I walk out the door, sometimes I look to the left and I see the glimmer, and I think, gosh, I love that piece. Yeah, but like I said, lots of stitching actually. I remember the tree taking quite a long time. It's got a lot of stitching in there. There's over one as well. There's these little egg, I think of them as egg baskets. They were over one. And I do full crosses for over one, which in that thick silk, that's that bit there, and one on the other side. I think that was all the over one. I believe that this is a girl and this is a boy. I think I've heard, again, you know, if you know about these things, please do say in the comments, but obviously boys wore the same as girls up to a certain age, and I think this is a boy, one because of the hat, which has a particular, it's a flat top with a tassely bit on it, but mainly because of the hoop and the stick. So obviously, you know, they would roll the hoop and get it going with the stick and chase after it, and that's what he is holding here, whereas the girl has a little basket and, well, it looks like a flower that she's picked actually. So yeah, really like that, really. And I had this fancy frame put on it because I just thought it suited it, but I wouldn't normally go for a frame like that. Well, I ordered it because, as I said, I frame my own stuff, so I frame that myself. And I don't put glass in them. It gets the feather duster treatment. And over one along here it says Sarah Bradley, aged 20 years, 1845. And I can't remember what the other bit was, but I put my own name in, over one Sarah Proctor, and it's dated 2021, so that must be when I finished it. But I know I probably was working on it for quite a while. We started it much earlier than that. Okay, right, let's do the bag update next. So I've got them here in one of the bags that's coming. So these went like hotcakes last time. And I had a couple of people who were like, oh, I didn't manage to get one. So I trawled the internet and found a piece, that's it. So this is it now. I do have more than one of them. This is just one of them. But they have a different lining. The other bags that are coming are in here too. So let me show you the lining. I think it's nice. It's not a sparkly lining. The other one was sort of like, almost like Lily of the Valley and had touches of gold. This one does not, but it's still really nice with this. And of course this does have the hints of gold on it. I don't know if it's going to show. So yeah. It's a big repeat. There is a peacock on the front of the ones that I've made. And there might be, yeah, you can see it's a bit lower down on that side. They're obviously all different. It depends on how the fabric's cut. So they may well have already gone. If you've made it, where are we, 47 minutes, if you made it this far, they may have already gone. But I will have said, you know, they always go on the website at the same time. So they'll be there. And if they don't go, that's great, because at the moment I'm just selling everything and I don't really like having an empty website. I love selling everything, but I want you to be able to go and see things if there's stuff there. So here we go, the strawberry bags. This is going to be popular. I know it's going to be popular. I love it. I bought this fabric a long time ago, and when it came, I thought the scale was too big, and I thought, oh, I love that fabric, but it's not going to work for bags. But because of this strawberry episode, I thought, well, why not? Let's just make it up. And I think it does work okay, actually. So this is William Morris Strawberry Thief, which is pretty much a classic design, isn't it? And it does, I think it does work. I mean, there we go, look, you've got the two here with the strawberry. I know that you've not got all of him there and you've not got all of him there, but I love this colourway. It makes me think of chocolate dipped strawberries. So when our children were little, and actually when they were even grown up a bit, we used to go to Germany every year heading towards Christmas time for the Christmas markets, and I absolutely loved the strawberries that you could buy threaded onto a wooden skewer that had been dipped in chocolate, and I would always have to have them, those and the waffles, and the sausages and everything else. It was all about the food really, but that's what they make me think of because of that lovely deep rich chocolate colour, which is why I went for a chocolate coloured tassel. There we go, on the back. And the lining is, again, this is another really classic Morris, I think it's called Willow, isn't it? But with the chocolate and the pink. So there, anyway, enough talk about those because I think they're just going to have gone anyway. And then some Caroline bags as well. So I did, I like changing it up a bit. So sometimes, well, I mean, that's too big. That is too big a print to use here. But I quite like that look when it's all one on one side and that on the other. And it's got the chocolate tassel as well. And there are a couple of thread keeps because I'm not going to have enough strawberries otherwise. So, I mean, they're pretty much the same. Let's get them on here properly. They're just different size strawberries. So one of them has a big strawberry and one of them a slightly smaller one, but there we go. So there's the thread keeps to go with those. So the other design, I think these are wild strawberries in my experience. I should have gone outside to see if, I don't think they're flowering yet actually. It would be nice to bring one in, wouldn't it? So yeah, I think they're wild strawberries. So this is, I think, it'll be very clear on the website what they're called. Little strawberries, I think I've called them, in two colourways. So yeah, green backed on one side, pink on the other, pinky coloured tassel. I haven't got very much of this yarn. I've made as many tassels as I can out of it, and so yeah. The next, I should have brought it. I've got a red cotton, which also looked pretty good. So it might be a red cotton tassel rather than that one. Or actually, I've got some really nice creamy white, which will pick out the flower. But anyway, there we go. That's the one. And then I did something different, which I hope you think works. So I did all pink. These are the Dorothy ones, all pink on one side and green on the other. So I've not done that before. I have to say, really challenged my brain because of the way it's constructed to make sure that I had the right bits in the right places. Because it's all pink on one side, all green on the other. And then on the inside, it's all pink on the back, but green on the front. So yeah, that caused me a bit of sitting there thinking, now wait a minute, which way up, round, colour do I need to put on here? And a couple, probably a couple, not all, but a couple of these, I had to put a piece, well, if I turn it inside out, I've joined right at the very bottom there. There is a join. I mean, it doesn't make any difference to the bag. It's just my thing of wanting to use up all the fabric. So I've got a few of these, and if I did that on a couple of them, then I could make a couple more. So there we go. Yeah, let me know what you think. I liked both colours. I wasn't sure which one to do, and then I thought, well, why not just do both? Maybe I'll do it again sometime. Get my head into gear. And the thread keep, I've only got one because they pretty much all be the same. I did the green. Quite sweet, aren't they? They made good thread keeps because you get all the strawberries in there. Anyway, there we go. They'll be on the website now. And what's next? Bag update. What have I been buying? I was going to say I've been good. I'm really into stitching and knitting from stash and getting a really good feeling, like when I pick up that pink and use up a bit of that grey. And as you know, the yarn for the Vare pullover that I'm working on, I had to get a bit more of the grey, but the others I already had. There's a call coming in. I think I can just press that button there. Yeah. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, it's a good feeling knitting and stitching from stash. So what have I been buying? Well, first off, I had a gift yesterday. So yesterday I met a couple of old work colleagues, friends, for lunch, and I had such a nice time. I have to be careful because my blood values mean that I'm not neutropenic, but I am almost, and by that means that you lose your immunity. So I do have to be a bit careful, but it's a balancing act between not doing anything, not going anywhere, not exposing yourself to any germs, and the uplift you get when you meet good friends. And I had such an uplift. We had a really lovely lunch together. We sat outside, which feels safer somehow than sitting inside. You've got fresh air around you. It wasn't very busy, the place that we went. We chatted for 3 hours. It was great. And one of them gave me a present, and it was so perfect. You sort of can't believe it, really. But she'd been to an exhibition at the V&A, it's the Cartier exhibition that's on at the V&A, and obviously had gone into the shop, and she bought me, because she knows I love to stitch, a Strawberry Thief bookmark. How absolutely perfect is that? So I will enjoy doing that. That could be part of my strawberry stitching. It's great. So that was a gift, and I probably will work on that with the Stitch Strawberries for Wimbledon doodle. So actually buying, I follow Linda on Instagram. I won't say Linda who, I think her account's private anyway. We have very much, I think you watch me, Linda, I always think we have very much similar taste, because quite often things that you show make me want to go and buy it, or I already have it and have already stitched it. So we have quite similar tastes, and she showed something that she had finished recently that was a very, very old chart, and I loved it, and I immediately got onto it saying, if you get it, you can't get it anywhere, it's far too old. But it led me down a bit of a rabbit hole, because this piece was designed by, well, let me show you the book, because I bought the book basically. The book that I discovered is called Samplers and Stitches by Mrs. Archibald Christie. Now this is actually Agatha Christie, who was a very accomplished needlewoman, and obviously wrote this book under her married name. I think it might have been written in 1920. My edition that I bought, which is absolutely immaculate, is the 7th impression, and was published in, let me see if I can see, it says here, the 7th impression, 1959. Yeah, first edition 1920, this is the 7th in 1959. There were quite a lot out there of various different editions. I went for this one because it was immaculate, and I think that's quite nice. And they're all pretty much the same. I think this one might have a couple more coloured plates in it, but otherwise they're all the same. And it was 25 shillings when it was new, which I sort of feel was probably quite a lot of money, actually. So I thought I'd show you a couple of things in it, and I'll start off by telling you so it's actually, well, I'll tell you the contents. So there's obviously an introduction, and then it shows you, this is all about embroidery. So flat stitches, looped stitches, chained stitches, knotted stitches, composite stitches, canvas stitches, drawn fabric stitches, black work, lace stitch fillings and darning, cut and drawn work and insertion stitches, couching and laid work, applied and inlaid work quilting. So those are the different chapters and the different stitches that she covers. And I thought I'd show you the flat stitches so that you get an idea of what it's like. So I haven't really read it, but I've had a couple of flick throughs. She talks about the stitches and the method, and the illustrations are quite clear, I think, really. So that's the flat stitches. And obviously I read out all the chapters. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I felt quite inspired actually. And there are various pictures of pieces. And having read about the stitches, I hope you can hear me, my head's behind the book. I felt like you could do that somehow. If you mastered the stitches, not all of that, but you could. I felt like, oh, I could have a go at something like that, doing a sheep on a mound of grass with a bush. Like I've got time. But yeah, it made me think of Katie Strachan's videos, because she draws out her designs and then does her embroidery. Not that I've never even done anything like it before, but there was something about looking at it that I thought, I feel like it's doable. I feel like it's doable. Where have I put one in here? Oh, this is like the piece that Linda showed actually, and I think that I could have a bash at that, because that is an illustration of a cross stitch. I think this is her own piece. I put a mark in the front because I think there are pieces that she stitched in here. I don't know how well. So that's elements of that. I think I could have a go at that. Love it. So a very inspirational book. Why have I put ones in here? Oh yeah, I thought this was nice. This is the last chapter, Applied and Inlaid Work Quilting. This says it's inlaid embroidery in black and stone coloured linens. Oh, that was stunning actually. Clear that is. And the piece on the other side as well, which was quilting. I really loved this. Back stitch in sepia and fawn tinted silk upon cream coloured linen. Yeah, I think you can see that is quilted. You can see the puffiness, can't you? That looks eminently doable to me as well, even with my drawing skills. So Linda, so pleased that you shared that piece, because it did send me down one of those rabbit holes. And this is a great book, probably one of the nicest ones I've bought of its type, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it. I bought this on eBay, which is my go-to place for having a quick look, and I think it cost me, I think it was £3.50 plus postage, and postage, as we all know, is about £3.50 in the UK. I was very happy with that. It's in lovely condition. It came super speedily. It was a good seller. And I've really enjoyed looking at it. So that is something that I bought, and actually highly recommend as well. It's really, and there's loads of copies of it out there. You'd find it really easily. In fact, I might even have spoken to somebody who's already found it and bought a copy. That's possible. And I've been buying old stuff, because the antiques dealer in me is still there, obviously, and searching for some things, sometimes you find other things. So I bought this, which is a Georgian candle reflector. Look at it. Can you see it reflecting? That's its job. The guy that was selling it said it was, late 1700s Georgian, and I thought, oh yeah. But actually, when it's come, I do actually have some very old Georgian brass candlesticks. It's made of brass. And I think it probably is. It is exactly what he said in my experience of these things. So these were used to intensify candle flames, basically. So you'd stand your candle in front of it and it would reflect. It's a candle reflector, so it would reflect even more light to give you even more light. But I bought it because I thought it could be a bit of a finishing thing. I don't know what. Again, it wasn't very much money. What did it cost? I've only recently bought it. I think it was £20 delivered. I think that's... And it goes flat as well. It's on like a pivot thing. So you could stand something on top of it. It's not very stable. It'd have to be something heavy to hold it flat. But I felt you could use that to put a finish on somehow. You could use that top bit. Even if it wasn't... It doesn't necessarily need to be a round finish, does it? It could be an any shape finish that you would then... You'd then have it raised above other things to create height to a display. But yeah, it's I think it's quite a good thing. My husband's like, what have you been buying? And then I bought this. I don't know if you've been looking at it over my shoulder. I can't really show it very well. It's a pole screen. I went down another rabbit hole looking for those. So it's quite big. It's behind me. I'll move it forward a bit. I can't show you the base because I can't move you, but it's on a really nice turned pole. I mean, to be honest, it actually looks like rosewood to me. It's a bit battered around the base, but I think I can tidy that up a bit. And I mean, I know it is missing. It's missing elements here, which I will get Steve onto. There's a bit missing from there. If you don't know, these were used to protect your face from the fire. So if you sat next to the fire for warmth, it would make your cheeks go red, as mine are now actually, and I'm not sat next to the fire. And you would position this, because it goes up and down at the back. You can see it's on a... it came yesterday actually, it was delivered yesterday, so I haven't experimented with it. But you could move it, you can see there's a device here, so you could move it up and down depending on where you needed it, and then you'd have it here, so that the heat from the fire didn't hit your face basically, but you still got the warmth on your body. And that obviously is just a modern bit of fabric that somebody has stuck in there. And you know what I'm thinking, don't you? I'm thinking that I could do a cross stitch and put it in there. It's actually got a really lovely brass type finial on the top. And the pole tapers as well. It really is a nice quality one. You know, it gets thinner as it goes up to the top. It gets thinner, so it's quite delicate up at the top there. I don't think it bothers me it's missing a few bits. Well, it doesn't bother me it's missing a few bits. It came, again, I bought it on eBay, but it was a charity shop. And I was very happy to give them my money, actually. There were quite a lot on there that were very expensive when I was looking. You know, and that's not a problem. I mean, they are lovely things. But this one was a really good price, and it was a charity shop, because charity shops do sell things on eBay, don't they? And so I was very happy to give them my money, and it came yesterday and they delivered it because they're not that far away from me, for the price that I paid for it. So I've been thinking, what would I stitch in there? And two things, well, one thing came to mind actually, and that's, I've written it down. Mama Loves You GB has a chart called Birds of a Feather that is circular, but it is too small for that, because that is quite a size. And so the other thing I thought of was Chloe, who is the girl with a gavel. I don't know if you watch me, Chloe, but she has a chart called Anne Hunt that I've spotted people been sharing it on Instagram quite a bit, and that popped into my head. And it is a sampler, but it has quite a big bird motif in the centre. Let's have a look at it. Would involve quite a bit of jiggling about, and I wondered if that central motif on that piece would work on a on what count, I don't know, and maybe use other bits of the sampler to pad it. Anyway, if you know of a circular chart, it doesn't actually have to be a bird. I think that bird there is influencing me. But a circular chart, how big is it? Hold on a minute, I've got a ruler. I'll tell you how big it is across. Yeah, it's about 14 inches across, so 14-inch diameter there. So it is quite big. You know, if you know of anything, or you look at that and think, oh, please let me know. Send me an email or add a comment. That would be great. Give me some other things to think about. Not that I haven't got enough to work on. I keep saying that, don't I? Okay. Finishes. Well, I'll just do them in the order in which they're there. I think that's probably the easiest. Let me move that back a bit. So I think I just showed this last time. And I stitched it and finished it. There we go. So yeah, I'm pretty certain I showed this last time because I thought he was very Scottish. And it's my first mill hill. My first mill hill, basically. I've not done one before. And I quite enjoyed it. I made quite a few mistakes actually. I didn't really understand the pattern instructions. I think where it said they'd sent you 2 lengths of a colour, I took it that you used 2 threads of that colour. And I'd worked on his, they like you to start in the middle. I never start in the middle, but I thought I will follow the instructions. So I started on this pale jacket colour and had almost completed it before I realised that that 2 was how many lengths of that thread they've sent, and in another column it was how many strands you needed to use, and you needed to use 3. Now I never unpick, and fortunately the card that you stitch on is brown, so it didn't really show that it was a bit sparse. It doesn't, does it? There's a different brown outlining the pocket here. That doesn't really show very well. I don't know if that would have been, well, actually you can see it a bit there. I don't know if that would have been any different actually if I'd used 3. But anyway, I fixed myself and started using 3. Particularly on those paler colours, it wouldn't have given the coverage, so I made the link there. I got a bit confused between the greens, you know, what is very light green, dark green, mid green. So I think some of those might be a bit wrong as well. Yeah, definitely the greens I messed up. And also the blue, because one blue I didn't use at all, so I also didn't get that right. But I enjoyed doing it. The beading. Yeah, beading, I've not done beading before. I've not done beading before these last couple of weeks. So I enjoyed doing the beads. And I just made a hanging, I probably will put it on the tree. I've never made an ornament for the tree before, so this is an absolute first for me. But he is a bit sparkly. It's not showing sparkly there, but when I've been working on him, he is sparkly. I quite enjoyed doing his beard. And then, I don't know what you do with the back of them. I just glued on, I finished this off last night, I just glued on a piece of, actually that's a Liberty Christmas fabric from last year. Just glued that on the back. So that's a start and a finish since last time. And I've got another one of these. My friend Jane in Australia sent one for me. And he's also a Father Christmas. So I think he might be in a Christmas bag. I might get him out. And so then I'd have 2. There we go. So that's a start and a finish. And then while I was doing that, I was just thinking, gosh, it looks so dark. And then suddenly the light comes back. I'm not going to... I've mentioned about the lighting before. It is what it is, and hopefully you are concentrating on your knitting or your stitching or your embroidery or whatever it is you're doing while you're listening to me waffle on, and so it doesn't really matter too much about the thing. Well, it doesn't really matter about anything, does it? My daughter did a Mill Hill kit. I bought her one for Christmas a few years ago. She'd never done a cross stitch before, and so it's her first ever cross stitch piece, and obviously I think she did a really good job. I really wanted to encourage her to join me in my creative endeavours, so when I think I gave it to her obviously Christmas Day. I think she started it on Boxing Day. I think she just likes doing things, and so she started it straight away and finished it, you know, within a few days. And so I gave her a bag to go with it. This is a bag from a while ago, which has peacocks on it. She chose it actually from the stock that I had, and so this is her bag. And I've had it because she finished the stitching on it, and I said, "Oh, I'll finish it for you." Actually, I haven't fully finished it. I know, well, she hasn't. I know he's got a snowflake that hangs here that needs stitching on. I'll probably do that for her actually. But anyway, this is Penelope's cross stitch that I'm showing here. This is her first ever cross stitch. He's good, isn't he? So the hat was separate. She cut it all out and everything. The hat was separate to the face, and because I was finishing mine yesterday, I did this for her. She's lost enthusiasm for cross stitch, so I used just fabric that was left over from the bag actually, so it's not Christmassy at all. And I made the hanging thing. Well, actually I made a hanging thing for mine, and it was long enough to make two, so she'll be able to hang him up. But he's great. I think Father Christmas might subsequently have bought her another one last year, because this is from a couple of years ago. So hopefully when she sees this, she'll be inspired to do the other one as well, wherever that may be. But I will just add that. I'd forgotten about that. That needs adding to it. And also in her bag, that was the kit, is another, well, it's one of my charts that she decided she wanted to do. This is a having said that, I'm not really into Halloween. This is my chart. I didn't really like that as far as Halloween goes. And Penelope wanted to stitch this one here for a friend. And so actually, when I was in hospital for that time as that inpatient thing, she came along with it, and we sort of did it together. Well, I showed her how to start it because she'd only ever done that kit, and that's what she did. And that's when she said to me, "I don't like cross stitch." I don't think I like it. Yeah. Subsequently, she's asked me to teach her to knit, which I think she finds more, I think she just prefers it actually. So, but she wanted that for a friend. I can see myself having to finish that. Is that right, Penelope? Or will you finish it? So anyway, finished those last night actually. I glued those backs on there, so they're finishes. I finished Clothed in Strength and Dignity, and I love it. And do you remember last time I said that I was looking for more cleanwear fern needle holder, and I had gone mad thinking, where is this thing? And I had searched high and low, and in the end I thought, it'll turn up. It hasn't turned up this time. Well, let me show you my finish. So I finished this. Okay, this is "She is clothed in strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come." And this chart was a gift from my Australian friend Jane, that moved me to tears when it arrived, because I've told you at the beginning, if you're still with me, I have had to be strong, and I have had to laugh. So this means a lot to me, this chart, and I enjoyed stitching it, and I enjoyed stitching it when I stitched it because I felt it was seasonal because of the blossom. And I ummed and ahed as to what to do with it, and in the end I have taken it very literally, and I'm going to turn this into a lavender cushion, pin pillow lavender. What do we call them? I used to make them when I was a child with my grandma because she grew lavender, and we just make them out of old fabric. It's a lavender bag that I am going to put probably in my underwear drawer. So I am clothing myself with strength and dignity very literally, because I do get a lot of strength from feeling that I look good. Doesn't matter if other people don't think I look good. If in my own mind I put on my clothes and think, I feel great, that's enough for me. And I do derive strength from feeling me, I can't really word it. Could I say that I worked in a place once where I had to wear sports kit twice a week, all day, twice a week, and it wasn't a great sports kit. In fact, it was really horrible. And actually, you might think, what is this woman talking about? It actually made me begin to feel depressed wearing this thing, wearing these clothes, this polyester shirt and trousers and trainers. It wasn't me. I don't dress like that, and it actually began to bring me down. It is possible. It did me. Maybe you would feel the same. Maybe you think I'm mad, but it actually began to make me feel depressed. So I stopped wearing it. I work with children, little children. I didn't need to be wearing sports kit. I could still supervise them and deal with their tantrums when they lost, or their falls, or anything that had happened to them without wearing the sports kit. So I stopped wearing it. And I remember somebody once said to me, why didn't you wear the sports kit? And I said, it just makes me feel depressed. I just can't do it. Never wore it again. So I'm taking that very literally. I know it is from the Bible, but I'm going to put it, and of course, having had a mastectomy, my underwear drawer is virtually empty, and yeah. But if it doesn't go there, it will go in one of my jumper drawers, because it's good for keeping the moths at bay as well. And can I find the bag of lavender that I have anywhere? What have I done with it? I know for a fact that I came across it not that long ago and thought, oh, that's where that lavender is. I don't know how much time I've wasted looking for it. Unlike the needle case, I'm just going to buy another bag, because I hate that feeling. It's on my mind the whole time. Oh, have I looked there? I've even looked in the same place more than once, just in case I've missed it. But so that's why it's not fully finished, because I haven't got any lavender to put in it. But this is Lady Dot Creates trim. Actually, I kept it to one side. It is Brick House. The way that I use it, I never find that you can get a neat finish if you sew it in, even with a zipper foot. So I unpick it from the backing, and I keep this because sometimes I use that for other things, but you can see how much I unpicked from there. And so I sew it on by hand, so because I like to make work for myself. There we go. So that's how I put that on. The back is a piece of Jane Austen inspired fabric called Penelope. I think I've showed this before because it's the one that I use to keep my laptop in. I use that fabric for. So I think it looks really nice. So all I need to do to fully finish it, I've got a little hole in the bottom here because lavender will be easy to put in. Drop in some lavender, sew it up, and then just finish with the bubbles. And then, yeah, really a very important piece to me, really. I left off I think it says here Proverbs and where it came from. I left it off not for any reason other than it was just backstitched. I think if it had been over one, I might have put it on. I don't really like backstitched words. It's my personal thing. So yeah, I'll find some. You probably won't see this again, but I'll find some lavender and put it in, and that will go in my drawer, one of my drawers. Okay. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, I've got more. Yes, I have got more. So I stitched some strawberries. And these are the strawberries that I stitched. How am I going to be able to show those? Hold them like that. Oh, look at them shining away there. So there's a bit of a story behind these. Yeah, look at that velvet. So if you've been watching me for a while, you'll remember my I bought a stuffed zebra moment. This is similar-ish in that I bought a strawberry kit. Left alone in isolation in the hospital with a credit card. I had watched Sian Periwinkle Stitcher one evening while having my supper probably, and she showed a kit from yeah, it's in here actually. It's in a completely un-strawberry related bag, but this is where it's been kept. So Sian showed a kit from is it Mary J. Heine? Mary Jo Heine Designs. And Sian showed the kit, and the kit was beautiful. I can't show you the kit because I've already made them, but it came, and it was beautiful when it came, with all the velvets laid out on a card, and they were just beautiful in their own right. And then the things that you needed, the beads, the floss for the stem, and the ribbon, they were all on here for the different coloured strawberries, and they just all look so beautiful, and they were when Sian showed them. And she had a discount code, I think 15% discount code, so I bought them. They were actually really good value for money, but obviously they came from the US, and the postage did cost quite a bit in relation to, well, I mean, I send stuff to the States. It wasn't expensive postage, it was fine. That's how much it cost, especially because they're heavy. Because it had everything that you need. Was there anything that I supplied myself? Yes, I did actually. So let's pick up a different one. So it came with, so you can make 5. So 5 different hand dyed velvets, 5 different ribbons, and bead and sequin packs, because there's a sequin behind each. Oh, I was determined not to lose my boards today. Oh, put it over there. You're probably all shouting at me. Put it over there. There's a sequin behind each bead on the strawberry body. Might not be able to see on that colour. That one there might be a bit more obvious. So there's a little sequin behind the beads at the top, not the ones at the bottom. So they were all there, and this was here. They actually are filled with sand, very fine sand. That was all in the pack, so that was quite heavy. They are quite heavy actually, because that sand is quite heavy. And each one I filled to about here, so quite a lot of sand in them. And then the very top I put in some uncarded toy stuffing, just so that you could get that round and soft bit. So, and it was one of those things that after I bought it, I thought, why did you buy those? You're never going to make those up. And I worked out that each one has cost me £10 in cost of the chart, including the postage. I don't know, but you couldn't buy it for £10, could you? And I really enjoyed making them. And I have some strawberries to show you. In fact, I have 5 strawberries to show you. And there were various different colours, which I think it might So obviously I think this is the one that I bought, but there were other colours that you could choose from as well. I mean, I did really enjoy making them, so I've made those, started, finished and made them since I saw you, so that I actually had some strawberries that look like strawberries to show you. And once I started, I thought, well, I'm just going to keep going and I'll just make them all. Not sure what I'm going to do with them. I mean, at the moment they're all sat in there. I might probably tuck them in amongst other bowls and projects and things. So there we go, I've made some strawberries. There we go. So we're nearly done actually. Plans. So my plans for my strawberry stitching are in this. This is one of my very first bags actually. It goes back a long way, and it's strawberries. And the interior is tigers actually. I'll take out what's in here. I'll show you what my plans are. This is my strawberry bag for stitch strawberries for Wimbledon or whatever it is. And the interior was these tigers. Okay, so what is in here? Well, I've been looking for stuff, and I found some strawberry fabric. This is super cute, that one. And I found a piece of that bag fabric as well, so I pulled that out. So that's in there. I've had this book for a long time. Whoops. And I see people stitching this lady's designs. Her name is Gerda Bengtsson. Bengtsson. I think she's from Denmark. And I see people stitching her things and I really like them. And I bought this a long time ago. I probably bought it on eBay or one of the second-hand book sites. I didn't buy it in a shop or anything, and I won't have paid very much money for it. But there's a strawberry in here, and I thought, right, this is now the time that I'm actually going to stitch one of those. So there's the strawberry. And they're all done in DMCs, and so I started pulling out from my store some, and I've got quite a few in other projects, but I might make it up a bit as I go along. But I'm definitely I'm going to stitch that, and I'm probably going to do it on this piece of fabric, which is 36 count doily Madison from Needle and Flax. This is just a small bit that I must have bought from Sue at Peakside. I'm thinking that I haven't done a drawn edge finish yet, and so I've picked this piece. It's only tiny. What's the size of it? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Well, it's 60 by 60 there, but it doesn't cover the whole chart, so it's probably only 50 by 50. So it's tiny. But I thought I'd give myself lots to play with because I'm a bit frugal with my fabric, and I might try and do it as like a little mat, little drawn edge mat that I could. But then again, it might turn out to be a pincushion. So that I checked this out for you yesterday. This obviously, I don't know where you'd get it. Anyway, I googled it. You can pick this up in the UK at somewhere like A Books. I think they had one for £3.50 including postage. So if you could get one of these for £3.50, or you certainly could last night. That's delivered, which I thought was great. There's a lot of charts in here. Obviously I'm not going to show you, but all these flowers on the front, I think pretty certainly includes that in there as well on the back. As I say, I've never done one. They've been on my radar, and now here's my reason to do one. So that is in there. I'm going to put it back in. And the other thing that I sort of knew that I had is this. This is by Teresa Baird, which is Heart's Ease Exemplar Works. And the pattern, which I even bought the threads for, was a freebie during the pandemic. And it's called Believe. and it's a sewing set. At the time of the pandemic, I thought that I would stitch all of it, but now that's been and gone. Well, now my plan is to stitch the strawberry here, this piece, and the needle book, because I think I've said before that I feel that I could do with needle books. So, and it's got this lovely little fobby thing as well that I would also stitch. So that's my plan, is I'd like to stitch this piece, the strawberry, and I'd like to stitch this needle book. That's the back of the needle book. I love that checkerboard thing that she's got going on there. So those two pieces. But this thing here that you put the scissors in, I also quite like. And the big basket's quite nice as well, but I no longer feel that I would need to stitch Believe 2020. But that's a pin cushion. I could make the basket and just make a pin cushion. I don't know. We'll see. I have a piece of fabric. It says there that you need a huge piece of fabric, but I have not a huge piece of fabric because I'm only intending to do those bits. And funnily enough, the bit that I pulled out is the bit that was cut off of Sarah Bradley. So this is XJU Designs, a 36 count bird cage, and it's just been sat in a drawer, and it's all about using stuff up, and I wanted to do it on 36 count, and this was a big bit without using a brand new bit, if that makes sense. I wanted to use things up, and these are my threads. So I haven't studied the pattern enough to know if they were called for, but I bought these when the pattern came out because I thought I was going to stitch it. So they're all Belle Soie. I've got Her Crown, which is the yellow. I've got Sister Scarlet, which is the pinky colour, Spruced for the green, and Old Crow for the black. It doesn't have that many colours in it. It must have a white in it somewhere. Yeah, because it's got the little flower on it. But for the smalls, I think that will be good. And I threw in another red because I noticed that the strawberries have a darker top and a lighter bottom. So I just found some of Vera Soie. Probably, this looks like a pinky red. This, yeah. It is what it is, isn't it? I think I will enjoy working on those. And I thought to myself, well, I feel really a bit bad about showing this because everybody's going to say, oh, they're lovely, I want to be able to stitch them. So I did a bit of research last night, and I found, and you will find it because it wasn't difficult research, that you can still get this as a free PDF download at Hobby House Needleworks. So if you are interested, I'm not showing you something that you can't get because it would appear that you can get it very easily as a free download. So yeah, this will be this. Yeah, I really like. I mean, I suppose I could show you, but the needle book has pages inside, and the inside cover of the needle book also is stitched. I mean, that'll depend on how much of this fabric I need. Yeah, so you can get this if you like it. You can get it. I hope that fabric's going to look okay. I think it will do. It's good to use stuff up. So those are my plans. That's what I plan to be doing whilst watching Wimbledon. Get it back in there. So that's it. Long but not too long. I have a giveaway as well. I've been a bit blown away by how many people watch my ramblings and how many lovely comments I get from you all, it's lovely. And so I thought it'd be nice to do another giveaway. I'm not sure about giveaway etiquette but the Sajou threadwinder hasn't been claimed yet. I do know the lady that whose name came up, but my feeling was that and is that it's a thank you for watching, isn't it? And so I feel like you need to be watching and saying to me, oh, that was me, thank you so much, in order for it to be fair. I don't know. I thought about redrawing it last night, but when I looked, it's about 6 weeks ago or something, so I thought, well, I'll just leave it a little bit longer. But what will happen is I will draw that one again next time if I still haven't heard anything. So anyway, this time I'm going to give this one away. I checked with the lady that sent it to me if I could pass it on. She was very happy for me to do so. This has meant a lot to me, this chart, and it might mean a lot to you or somebody that you know. And so if you would like to be entered into the chance to win it, you again, please don't use the word, I think I have to say this because please don't use the word giveaway or free or any of those. Let's see if I can get the light a bit better. Yeah, there we go, better. But if you could leave a comment, you need to leave a comment, and I thought a good word was strong. So if you can just use the word strong in your comment, I'll do a random comment. Is that no? A random comment, a comment random generator. You know what I mean. For the next time I do a Flosstube, which will probably be in 3 weeks, for this chart. And I'm very happy to send it to whoever wins it, whether it be in this country or abroad. But it's given, yeah, it means a lot to me, this chart, and I thought it was a good one to give away. So that's that. And if the Sajou threadwinder hasn't been claimed by the time I draw for this, I'll redraw for that as well. We'll see what happens there. I think that's it. I've been looking at my notes all the way through. I think I've covered everything. Yeah, comment strong if you'd like to win that. Please leave a comment if you have any ideas for circular charts or good strawberry patterns. I know there are good strawberry patterns out there. I think there's a blackbird one, isn't there? Strawberry fields. Is there Agnes Platt strawberry sampler? I know that there are loads out there. If you'd like to comment for other people to read, because I think people do read the comments of good strawberry charts, please feel free to do so. I think that's it though. So I've enjoyed your company again. I know I can't see you, you can't see me, but I know you're there from your comments and people that contact me. And I'll go now before I start waffling on about anything else. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.